Tech support workers, what's the moment someone accidentally revealed way too much about their life? So I used to work tech support for a mid-sized internet provider, the kind where your whole day is just old routers, people screaming about Wi-Fi they unplugged themselves, and you slowly losing your will to live. I was maybe 22, still trying to convince myself this was a temporary job. It wasn't. But nothing, absolutely nothing could have prepared me for Gary. I still remember his name because the incident was seared into my mind like a traumatic tattoo. It started normal enough. He called in saying his connection kept cutting out at specific hours, and I was like, yeah, okay, probably interference, maybe his microwave, maybe the neighbor's cheap baby monitor, the usual. But Gary O'No-Gary had theories, and he was excited to tell me. He started by whispering like someone was behind him. "I think she's doing it on purpose," he said. And I'm like, oh God, here we go. So I'm doing my script. And who would that be, sir? Already regretting my life choices. "My wife," he says. "My wife has been trying to sabotage my activities." Plural activities. I click into his router logs while he rambles expecting to see signal drops or maybe a device kicking him off. But what I see instead is 32 devices connected, half of which had names like Fire Stick Living Room, Normal, and then others named Playroom Cam, Hidden Mirror Cam, Basement Guest Cam. And I swear one was literally labeled Closet Spy, like he didn't even try to hide it. Like he named these things after the literal crimes. At first, I honestly thought maybe he had kids who named their stuff weird. Then he keeps talking. "She doesn't like my content creation," he says, and my stomach dropped. He says he's trying to run a business from home, which turns out to be him, live streaming himself in various costumes. And by costumes, I mean I wish he'd stuck to costumes, because dude then tells me very casually that the cameras are for his clients' custom viewing angles. And he says this like he's telling me about framing pictures on a wall. Meanwhile, I'm staring at these device logs because every time he goes live, all the cameras spike at the exact same time and eat all his bandwidth. And guess what time his wife usually gets home? The exact time his internet suddenly tanks, because she's unplugging the router like any reasonable human being who walked into their own basement and found their husband dressed as a furry Viking knight being filmed from 9 angles. But the moment he revealed way too much wasn't even that. No. We reached peak overshare when I asked him to restart the router so I could check signal levels again, and he puts the phone down but he doesn't mute it, and I hear him yell across the house, "Babe, can you pause the dungeon scene? Tech support needs the box reset." I wish I were exaggerating. I wish for the sake of my mental health that I were lying. There's a pause. Then his wife, who sounds absolutely done with life, yells back, "Which box? Gary, the one your clients tell you to use or the one that pays our bills?" He picks the phone back up like nothing happened, breathless, like he ran a marathon. "Sorry about that," he tells me. "We're just in the middle of filming our Tuesday scenario." As if I don't now know more about this man's intimate life than I know about my own entire family tree. I get the router back online, fix his settings, and very gently mention that running 30 cameras on the lowest tier plan is not ideal, and he goes, "Oh yeah, that explains why the floor drain cam lags." The floor drain, why, for what reason? When the call ended, I just sat there headset off, staring into the void. My supervisor walked by and asked if I was okay, and I told her, "I think I know too much about humanity now." She patted my shoulder and said, "Welcome to tech support." Anyway, that was the day I learned 2 things. People will use Wi-Fi for things you cannot unhear even with bleach inside your ears. Always mute your phone before asking your wife to pause the dungeon scene. Back when I worked remote tech support for a big antivirus company, we had this screen share tool where customers could let us see their desktop to walk them through virus removals. 90% of the time, it was grandpas who downloaded 12 fake "you've won a free cruise" toolbars, or moms who clicked on ads shaped like giant glittery buttons. Easy stuff. Then there was the incident. A guy named Tony called in saying his computer kept locking itself every time he tried to open a specific folder. No further explanation. Said the folder was important work documents for a side business he was running. Whatever. Pretty normal so far. I ask him permission to launch the screen share. He says yes. The moment his screen pops up on my monitor, I already know this is going to be a ride because 1. His desktop background is a muscular anime werewolf leaning against a Camaro. 2. He has 57 folders on his desktop and every single one is called New Folder X. 3. There is a minimized window titled Tony's Special Budget Spreadsheet. Do not open. I take a breath. Sir, can you show me the folder that's giving you trouble? He hesitates. Like, long hesitation. Then he drags the mouse to a folder named Taxes 2023. It wiggles. He wiggles it again. Then he renames it to Definitely Not Porn right in front of me. I had not asked him to do that. Nobody asked him to do that. He goes, sorry Habit, this is it. At this point, I'm thinking he's just embarrassed he mislabeled some pictures or whatever. I tell him to try opening it. He does. The computer immediately freezes and a giant red threat detected warning pops up totally normal. What happens next is not, because the folder opens anyway, and I swear to God it was like watching a person pull off their own mask accidentally. Inside the folder were spreadsheets labeled Client Number 4, Rate Negotiation Notes, Word docs named Case 11 Testimony Draft, Voice Memo Transcripts, and a PDF titled List of Affairs, hers PDF. At first, I genuinely thought he was a private investigator. Like, cool, maybe he's tracking cheaters or something. People do that. It's weird, but not illegal. But then he starts spiraling. Oh crap, oh my God, she's gonna kill me, did you? See that? Did it show everything? Did you see all of it? I'm trying really hard to remain neutral and say my script. Sir, I only saw the file names, not the contents. He goes, yeah, but that's bad enough, man. You saw the list. Me. The list. He panics even more. The list. The one I made for court. For the custody thing. For proving she's unstable. Oh my God, I left the whole thing in one place. At this point, I'm like, okay, not my business, not my circus. I try to redirect him back to the actual problem. Let's focus on the virus for now, but he keeps going. She thinks I don't know about her guy, but I've been tracking them for months. I've got timestamps, screenshots, phone logs, GPS data. I freeze, bro. Thinks he's Sherlock Holmes or the NSA. He continues rambling at the speed of guilt. I mean, she deserves it, right? I mean, she lied to me. She said she was doing late yoga classes. Who does yoga in a hotel? Who does yoga 3 nights a week in a… I interrupt gently, like a kindergarten teacher. Tony, sir, I think the malware might be coming from whatever tracking software you installed. Dead. Silence. Then he goes, so you saw that too? What I saw was his taskbar, which revealed a program called SpyTrack Pro Elite Edition, unregistered trial, with a little yellow warning icon. So yeah, I saw it, Tony. Everyone saw it before I can say anything. His wife walks into the room off screen. You can hear her voice but not see her. She asks, why is the bank calling me with fraud alerts? And Tony mutters, it's not fraud, it's tech support. Tech support. Fraud alerts, spy software, a folder of affairs, zero self-awareness. She says, who are you talking to? He whispers nobody, like a kid hiding a broken lamp, and then she snaps, Tony, if you're messing with my accounts again. He disconnects the screen share so fast my monitor blinked, call drops, no goodbye, no confirmation, just pure marital nuclear fallout. My supervisor walked by, saw my face, and asked, you all right? I told her. I just watched a man's entire divorce file open itself on screen like it was seeking help. She nodded and said, that's tech support. I still think about Tony sometimes, and I hope wherever he is, he stopped naming things definitely not. Okay, so I used to work tech support for this tiny local office supply chain. Like, imagine a Staples but sadder with flickering lights and coffee that tasted like someone heated up a puddle. My job was basically fixing broken printers that weren't broken, explaining to grown adults that plugging something in usually helps, and pretending the phrase, "it just stopped working," wasn't my personal trigger. Anyway, we had this long-term client named Marsha. But everyone in the company called her the printer queen because this woman changed printers the way other people change socks. Every time she came in, she was wearing something aggressively floral and complained like she was getting paid per word, but she was harmless. Annoying but harmless until she wasn't. This happened on a Tuesday, which I remember because that was donut day and I had eaten 3 out of spite. My manager told me Marsha called saying her printer was being dramatic. Yes, her exact words, like it was an emotional support animal having a meltdown. She shows up with her printer tucked under her arm like a football, slams it on my desk and says, "It's printing things I did not print." Now 99% of the time, that means someone in the house is printing from another device, a kid pirating Minecraft mods or whatever. So I start doing the routine diagnostics while she stands there, arms crossed, sighing dramatically like she's starring in her own soap opera. Then I check the printer queue, and I swear to God I froze so hard I think my soul temporarily left my body and went to sit in the freezer aisle at Walmart. Because there in the print history were 6 documents all titled Plan A Affair Strategy, Plan B Divorce Strategy, Plan C If He Finds Out, Plan D Emotional Damage Control, Plan E Financial Extraction, Plan F Post-Affair Reputation Repair PDF. Yes, PDF Homegirl formatted her cheating strategy like it was a corporate business plan. And the worst part, the printer did print them because they were sitting right on top of the machine in a neat little stack, stapled. I don't know who they were meant for, or if she meant to bring the printer in, or if she forgot the documents were sitting on the printer she carried here. But I, a simple 24-year-old tech gremlin with zero emotional readiness, picked up the stack slowly like it was radioactive sin. These printed. I asked, voice cracking like puberty hit me again. Marsha let out this scream gasp like she had just watched her entire life explode in slow motion. She snatched the paper so fast she almost gave me a paper cut. Then she shoved them face down under her floral purse. "Oh, those aren't mine," she said. "Ma'am." They had her full name, address, date, and a color-coded timeline. I'm talking charts, flowcharts, bullet points, a budget breakdown. This was some CIA-level affair documentation. I'm trying to keep my face neutral while she stands there sweating like she just ran a marathon through moral failure. And then she says the sentence that nearly made me actually die. "Can the printer log what I print, like keep copies?" And I swear every employee within 6 feet turned into a meerkat. Now here's the thing. No printers don't keep copies. Not basic home printers. But I didn't get to answer because right then, the worst possible thing happened. Another document started printing. Slowly, painfully, one line at a time, the printer word sputtered and then produced Plan G contingency if affair partner backs out. This woman let out a sound I can only describe as a Victorian lady fainting inside a collapsing igloo. She slapped the paper out of my hand before I even touched it. Then practically tackled the printer like she was shielding a wounded soldier. She unplugged it, grabbed the stack of sin PDFs, and sprinted out the door, full sprint. No goodbye, no explanation. Just a floral blur of guilt and panic. We watched her speed off in her car like she was being chased by every bad decision she ever made, and the best part, the absolute chef's kiss. She called later, asking if she could return the printer for a refund because it betrayed her. I had to mute the phone because I was laughing so hard I nearly achieved enlightenment. Sometimes I still think about her, not because of the affair that was her business, but because somewhere in this world, there exists a human being who creates detailed formatted PDF documents outlining their cheating strategies like they're planning a corporate takeover, and I, for one shining afternoon, had front row seats to the downfall of printer queen Marsha. Okay, so this happened like 4 years ago when I worked remote tech support for a company that does software for real estate management. It was a boring Tuesday morning. Coffee tasted like burnt cardboard, nothing interesting happening. Then my ticket queue pops up with a high priority, urgent, can't connect to CRM. The guy's name was Thomas, not real obviously, and he was a regional manager for one of our bigger clients. Usually those dudes are either super chill or complete nightmares. He joins the Zoom. I say the usual, "Okay, I'm going to request remote control of your screen." He accepts without hesitation, and that's when his screen pops up, and I swear I almost choked. His background wasn't normal. No wallpaper, no icons. It was literally just a full-screen open folder titled Life 20 Do Not Open, which is, exactly the kind of thing that makes a tech support person go, "Oh God, I'm about to see something illegal." I try to ignore it. Professionally, we start diagnosing his CRM issue, which is honestly just that he had 5 versions open and Windows was dying of confusion. Meanwhile, he's apologizing nonstop, talking super fast, breathing weird. Like a guy trying to hide something but also trying to pretend he's not hiding something. Then it happens. He gets a Slack notification. The notification literally reads, "Your wife is asking where you are. Your other wife called again. What should I tell them?" And the sender's name, Stacy, assistant. Personal management folder. Yes, this man had a literal assistant managing his lies. I pretend I didn't see it. He absolutely knows I saw it. His mouse starts shaking like he's got Parkinson's. Then, as if the universe decided, nah, let's absolutely ruin this man today, another notification pops up from a group chat called Dad Number 2 Schedules. At this point, I thought maybe I had a stroke. Then one more message comes in, and this one destroyed him. Reminder, Life 2. 0 meeting with counselor about maintaining dual families, 3 p.m. This dude had 2 families, like full families, wives, kids' lives. He realizes all of this showed up while screen sharing with me. He just slowly mutes himself. Then I hear a faint, "Oh no," then click. He ended the call, deleted his ticket, and never contacted support again. The company canceled our software 3 months later. And occasionally I think about him. Is he living life 30 now? Or did everything collapse the second I saw his screen? This happened back when I worked at a university's tech desk. We handled everything. Student accounts, professor computers, even Zoom setups during the pandemic when everyone was clueless. So there's this professor, older woman, super polite, very grandma energy, like knitting sweaters between classes type. She calls us because her webcam isn't working. No big deal, right? Ha 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 ha, wrong. She joins the session, camera off. I instruct her to check settings. She says, "Hold on, sweetie. I'm putting my clothes back on." I freeze. Absolutely statue mode. She continues, just chatting casually like she didn't just say that. "It's just been quite the morning. You know how it is when you've got a gentleman caller." "Ma'am, I'm 19. I do not know how it is with a gentleman caller." I try to steer her back. Okay, can you click enable camera for me?" She does. Her camera turns on. I swear to God she is sitting there with bed hair, wearing what I can only describe as a sparkly robe, eating strawberries off a tray like she's in a romance novel. I am dying inside but keeping the tech voice. Then, and I swear this is real, a shirtless dude walks behind her. But not just any dude. A buff, like, movie extra level buff dude, covered in tattoos. She turns and says, "Carl, honey, please stay out of frame." Carl waves at me. I wave back. Because what else do you do when Grandma and Thirst Trap Thor accidentally show up on a tech call? She eventually gets the webcam working and goes, "You're such a sweet boy, thank you. And remember, always say yes to dessert and men who own motorcycles." Then she left the meeting. I still think about Carl sometimes. So I did support for a document management platform. Our users uploaded PDFs all day, usually boring stuff like invoices, rental applications, contracts. One guy opened a ticket saying he couldn't remove a corrupted document. He sends me the document ID, I pull it up, and it is not corrupted. It is very clear. Too clear. It is a PDF titled, "My Password List Super Secret," and inside it is exactly what you fear. Every account he had passwords in plain text notes like, "This one is for cheating sites, don't log in at home." A section titled, "Secret Accounts Wife Doesn't Know Crypto Wallets." two separate password entries labeled Backup Girlfriend, Backup Girlfriend 2. I call him and tell him the file isn't corrupted. He just uploaded the wrong thing. This man attempts the boldest lie I've ever witnessed. No, that's not mine. That's your system glitching. By the way, his name is literally in the PDF metadata. I tell him that he says it must be someone else with my name. He has a unique name, like Zacharias Volforth Dimitri 3rd level unique. Then he says, well, either way, delete it immediately. I tell him we can't delete client files without manager approval. He goes silent. Then he says, how much do you get paid because I can pay you double to forget this? Sir, I'm one step above minimum wage. I'm not risking a job for your horny spreadsheet. I report it. Policy demands it. 2 days later, we get an email from his employer thanking us for bringing security risks to their attention. What happened to him? No idea. But I hope he wrote new password list on his way out. Not a normal support call story, but tech support adjacent because I was the on-site IT at the time. We had a corporate training day. HR lady was giving a presentation. She was always super composed, stiff. I schedule my smiles on a calendar type. During her presentation, she tries to airdrop a PDF to the conference room Mac. She clicks the wrong file. She clicks a video, a 2-minute video titled, Why I'm Done with This Marriage Final Proof. It airdrops to not the projector, but to every single person in the room who had airdrop set to everyone. Half the room gets a pop-up. HR lady wants to share a video. And humans are curious creatures. People clicked in the video. Oh Lord, it was her recording herself ranting about her husband cheating a secret bank account, her screaming at him off camera, him yelling it was one time with Karen from bowling, her listing all the ways she was going to destroy him in court, her crying, then laughing, then crying again. People were desperately trying to exit out, but it just kept airdropping again because she kept spamming the share button in panic mode. I had to literally sprint up, unplug the conference Mac, and tell her privately what she was doing. She whispered, "Please tell me nobody saw that." And the sounds of 30 people coughing, clearing throats, and aggressively staring at the ceiling answered her question. She called in sick for 2 weeks. So I was working remote IT for a small gaming studio. One day, a guy named Mark calls in about his VR headset not syncing correctly. Pretty standard, right? I ask him to turn it on, adjust his sensors, yada yada. But then something weird happens. Mark's camera is on. He's in his living room. Everything looks normal. But suddenly, his kid runs in, screaming, "Dad, you're cheating on Mom!" Mark freezes. I blink. He says nervously, "What? No, I'm in VR. I mean, yes, but wait." Turns out, he had been playing a VR dating sim and recording it to show his friends, only he forgot the VR software was broadcasting his camera feed to Zoom. His entire office had just witnessed him flailing, talking to a digital girlfriend, making awkward romantic gestures. His kid storms out screaming. His cat jumps on the VR sensors, knocking things over. Mark scrambles to unplug everything while I'm on the call, trying to maintain composure. He apologizes profusely, telling me he's never done that before. I tell him kindly, but firmly, "Sir, your entire office just watched your double life." He literally disappears for 3 days. When he comes back, he refuses to do video calls for a week, and somehow HR never brought it up again. I still wonder if anyone leaked that Zoom recording internally. So, this one still makes me laugh and cringe just thinking about it. I was doing IT support for a small law firm, mostly helping lawyers set up conference calls and remote presentations. One day, a partner, let's call her Vanessa, calls in because her screen sharing wasn't working properly during a high-stakes deposition prep. She sounds calm, professional, the kind of lawyer who could argue someone into confessing just by raising an eyebrow. I ask her to share her screen so I can troubleshoot. She clicks. Everything looks normal. Then naturally, her desktop pops up in front of the other partners on the call. And that's when I see it, a folder on her desktop titled, "Personal, Do Not Touch." My stomach drops. Curiosity, professional hazard. I glance at the folder. Inside, there are multiple subfolders with her personal life laid bare. Ex-boyfriends, Dozens of screenshots and chat logs detailing affairs, breakups, and revenge plans. Financial shenanigans, spreadsheets showing off the book's accounts, investments and side hustles. Her firm would definitely disapprove of embarrassing proof screenshots of her making extremely questionable personal choices, including drunken karaoke videos and failed attempts at extreme sports. I notice her hand shaking on the mouse. She whispers, "Oh my god, oh no, 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 no." I'm frozen, trying not to intervene because there's nothing I can do except watch. Then her calendar pops up, meetings, court appearances, and a recurring entry titled, "Date with Mystery Man, Don't Tell HR." The partners on the call notice her flinching. One says, "Vanessa, is everything okay with your screen?" She laughs nervously, and then to make things worse, her notifications start popping up. First, a text from her mother. "Why are you hiding your finances again? Call me." Then one from an ex. "Can you stop blocking me? I need my stuff back." Then a Venmo request from some random guy. "Hey, $200 for last night's, you know." The partners are now whispering to each other. Vanessa is panicking, clicking around trying to close everything, but the laptop seems determined to reveal all her secrets. Then the absolute cherry on top, a Zoom chat from another lawyer in the firm opens automatically. "Are you really taking your mistress to the client dinner tonight?" She freezes, and the silence on the call is deafening. I can almost feel her blood running cold through the screen. Somehow, she manages to shut down her laptop mid-call. The meeting ends abruptly, leaving everyone confused and slightly terrified. I quietly disconnect from the remote session. A week later, HR quietly encourages Vanessa to use a dedicated work laptop strictly for client matters. She also reportedly started attending digital hygiene seminars to prevent her secrets from spilling again. I still remember the look on her face, equal parts horror, mortification, and the faintest glimmer of, "I might have just survived this." And honestly, I still get nervous anytime a lawyer calls me for Zoom issues because you never know what kind of private chaos you're about to witness. Moral of the story: never mix your personal chaos with professional technology, especially when other people are watching. And if you do, don't call IT. Okay, so this is one of those stories that still makes me wince whenever I think about it. I was doing remote IT support for a wedding planning company, small business, but super busy. One of the planners, let's call her Erica, called me frantically because her Zoom was acting weird during a client walkthrough. She sounded calm, but I could hear the faint panic in her voice. I ask her to share her screen so I can troubleshoot. She clicks share screen, and suddenly her entire desktop is projected in front of the client couple. Normally, that's no big deal, but then I notice a folder on her desktop named Secrets 2025. My heart sinks. I try not to look, but curiosity is a hell of a drug. She opens a subfolder called Clients Plus Side Hustles, and my jaw drops. There are documents detailing every client she's ever scammed for extra money, spreadsheets tracking which weddings she overcharged, emails outlining excuses for overbooked schedules, screenshots of her social media pretending to be too busy with vendors while she was literally out partying. Then there's a folder named Ex-Boyfriend's Drama. Inside are text logs with explicit conversations, receipts, and screenshots showing how she blackmailed one of her exes into staying quiet about something illegal she did years ago. I can see Erica's hand trembling on the mouse trying to close windows. She's whispering frantically, just focus on the floor plans, please." The client, a sweet old couple, is staring at her screen like they've stumbled into a crime scene, and then naturally the notification bubbles start popping up. One from her phone app: "Don't forget the surprise for Alex tonight." Another: "Make sure the cash is in the envelope, he can't know." I realize she's been juggling illicit side gigs, dating drama, and professional life all on this same laptop. Her expression is absolute terror. Then a Zoom chat from her assistant pops up. "Erica, did you really just send the champagne invoice to your boyfriend instead of the client?" She gasps. The old couple is now whispering to each other wide-eyed. One of them actually says, is this supposed to happen?" Erica tries to close everything, but she accidentally drags the wrong window. It's a banking app with all her side hustle earnings displayed. The couple sees numbers, screenshots of cash transfers, Venmo messages, and honestly, I don't think anyone could have processed all of it in real time. Her assistant calls her frantically over speakerphone. Erica, I told you not to do that during client calls. And the cherry on top, a message notification from her ex pops up on the desktop. If you don't meet me tonight, I'm sending everything to your clients. She freezes. I freeze. The clients freeze. This is now officially the most chaotic Zoom call I've ever seen in my life. After what felt like an eternity, she finally shuts down her laptop. The room is dead silent. The old couple politely smiles, nods, and awkwardly thanks her for showing them the house layout. I try to remain professional, but honestly, my stomach is in knots. Later, I found out HR got every file she accidentally shared via the Zoom cache, and she almost lost her job. She stayed, but now, every time she logs on, she triple checks her screen sharing notifications and email. She even started keeping a burner laptop for work because one mistake nearly destroyed her career and personal life simultaneously. I still get flashbacks of that desktop every time someone calls about a weird Zoom issue, and I will never ever forget the moment a wedding planner's entire secret life exploded onto a client call in real time. Moral of the story: never assume your computer won't betray you, especially when your life is messy enough to fill dozens of folders. Your computer won't betray you, especially when your life is messy enough to fill dozens of folders. This one still haunts me. I was working IT at a mid-sized accounting firm a few years ago. One of our senior accountants, let's call him Martin, calls because his presentation isn't showing properly on the big projector during a company-wide financial meeting. Easy enough, right? I grab the laptop, start the remote session. Martin's office is quiet, fancy, everything looks professional. He's on the video call, smiling, nodding, pretending nothing's wrong. I start troubleshooting. Click project to screen, and boom. Instead of his financial slides, the entire desktop appears in full glory. And on the desktop, my friends, there's a folder named Vegas 2025. I glance inside, trying not to. I swear, every file is worse than the last. Spreadsheets tracking how much he lost each weekend. Screenshots of betting websites, amounts, dates, notes like, "Don't tell Carol, wife, about the blackjack loss." PDFs titled, "How to Launder Small Winnings." Multiple chat logs with bookies in bold red text. Another folder inside titled, "If Fired, Delete Evidence." I can see Martin's hands starting to shake. He's trying to act normal. He clicks nervously on a financial report, trying to hide the Vegas folder. Then the projector shows the chat window he forgot was open. "Hey, can you cover my 2K loss tonight?" "I already did." "Make sure it's under Carol's name this time." The entire room is silent. Executives are staring. Some are squinting at numbers, thinking it's some advanced accounting analysis. Nope. I try to act professional, so I say, Sir, the projector is showing your full desktop." Martin's face goes white. He mumbles something about a technical glitch and frantically clicks around. But it's too late. One of the junior accountants whispers, "Is that Vegas?" Chaos ensues. HR gets called. Security starts taking screenshots. Martin is pale, muttering to himself, trying to delete things that no longer exist because everyone's phones already captured them. By the end of the day, the CFO has a very serious discussion with him, and the company implements strict rules about personal folders on work laptops. Martin? He later transferred to another office, reportedly working remotely. But I like to think that Vegas spreadsheet haunted him for a long time. Moral: never think your gambling addiction is safe when your screen is connected to the world.